Entrepreneur Toastmasters. How are you?
All right, we are fine. And let me just say that you are giving a speech about the impression that society has on independent, financially successful, and organized individuals, such as entrepreneurs. So you're going to talk about some missteps or mishaps that the individual might experience for 5 minutes, and then we'll take on the chore of brainstorming some of your thoughts. Would you like to get started?
I sure would. Let's do it. Good morning,
Okay.
Toastmasters. I'm here at Heritage Gardens Assisted Living Facility, but I'm so glad to be doing this speech today. I just want to show you that I dressed up for the meeting today. All right. So society has impressions about us as a business owner. We're challenged as a business owner. So let's look at some things that impact us. When you think about what happens as a business owner, you oftentimes have in mishaps as a new business owner. So I'm going to spell the word mishap and let's talk about those things that happen to a new business owner. Are you with me? Say yes. All right.
Yes.
All right. The first thing that happens to you as a business owner is M, you need some money. Hello. You need money. And oftentimes we do not know where the money is going to come from. So the money comes from different sources. We have the Small Business Administration. We have, there's an organization called California Dream, and there are different organizations that provide funding for you in your organization. So M, you need money as a business entrepreneur, as a business owner. The next thing you need to be successful is that you need to be able to have I and imagination. Yes, to think of ideas of how to create your business to make it unique and stand out to other organizations. So I is an important word in mishap. You can also think about the letter S. How can you be successful? Oh, sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my goodness. Charlie, somebody come, my laptop fell. Please. Somebody come. My tablet fell down. I'm speaking. Okay. Can you get here?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, hold on. You want to hold it? Oh, there we go. No, you're okay.
My apologies. I dropped my tablet. So S, you have, where are you going? Okay.
Right here.
You have to have S, a strategy. And the strategy says you think of ideas and to be successful. The strategy says you have to be strategic. When you think about being strategy, what makes your business totally unique and successful? What's unique? What do you bring to the table? I have Make Success a mindset. What makes me unique? I coach individuals and help them with their life strategies to help them be successful. MIS. You need money, you have to have an imagination, you have to be strategic. H in mishap, you have to have habits. You should form habits to help you be continually successful. Habits like, what time do you get up in the morning? Habits like, who are you going to meet today? Who are you going to network with? Habits like, I'm going to reach out for social media. You have to have habits and that'll help you not have that mishap. And then there's a letter A in mishap, and that is all about your attitude. Your attitude. Your attitude is very important. Your attitude will give you an altitude that will take you to be successful. So your attitude says, I have to have a positive mindset. And if my mindset is positive, then it'll raise me up higher, because it's not what you got, but what you do with what you got that makes the difference. Your attitude means everything. And then lastly, the word mishap, you have to have P, a plan to be strategic about the business cycle. So think about how you do your life and having a plan. You have to have a purpose while you're in business. And you have to think about principles as a business owner. And that will help you have a sense of purpose. So think about mishap. M, money. I, imagination. S, strategic. H, habits. A, your attitude. And P, have a plan. I dare you as a business owner, don't have negative mishaps, but have positive mishaps so you can be successful with your business owner. I'll get back to you, Toastmasters. Can you hear me?
Yes, we heard you
Yes,
very
we
well.
can, loud and clear.
Okay, I said back to you, fellow Toastmasters.
Rosalind, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for all you do, Melinda. And now let's take about 8 minutes to brainstorm on what Melinda just offered us in her business challenge. And she did give a challenge to all of us with mishaps. Who would like to go first? Just speak out.
I can go first.
Okay, Charles.
Melinda, one of the things you talked about were habits. The gentleman who I coach, I talked to him very strongly about habits. And once he changed his habits, his business was a lot more successful. I had him getting up. He's a fitness person. So I changed the time he was getting up in the morning, had him deal with his emails. After that, then he did his meditation. So he started developing habits, and those habits gave him more time during the day to be organized.
Good point. Yay.
All right. Anyone else?
Roz, Melinda, Ray
Yes.
Robles here. Absolutely love that acronym. I'm working on a couple more and then I'll be complete. I can see that once I add the other one or two that I'm still lacking, that acronym will be in complete flow and I'll be happy. I've got most of them down packed, but there's a couple I'm still lacking. But I can see once I add, I got the imagination rolling like there's no tomorrow. There's a couple others I'm still lacking, but once I get there, get those in line, I'll be good to go. Thank you so much, Melinda.
Yes, Ray.
All right. And Frankie had her hand up.
Yes, Melinda, thank you so much. I love acronyms because it really helps cement the thoughts. I can visually see it. And it's very appropriate that money is the first. I believe there's a study that most all entrepreneur failures is because of undercapitalization. So when you're planning on going into business, you really need to focus on where your startup expenses are going to come from. So you had your success quotient. Thank you so much for this.
All right. Thank you. And Rosabelle.
You. Yes, Melinda, you really illustrated the positive mindset, the attitude and the good habits. When your laptop fell over or your iPad, you just got called for help. That's great. There's a mishap, you call for help. If you can't do it yourself, to get out of it. 2, you got right up on your feet and kept talking. And 3, you didn't lose track of your strategy. You had a positive mindset. I mean, you not only gave us a speech, you gave us an example. I wonder if you planned it that way, but
Yes.
that's okay. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And Bond.
Yes, thank you. Melinda, I've been following you on social media. Well, the vibes and the positivities, it's just through the roof. I'm so really stoked by all this attitude that you have got and to affect the people around you. I love your speech about the mishap, but from where I am right now in my business adventure, sometimes your speech just makes me wonder, where should we be? How we should start from when we see all these mishaps? We should be 100% ready, or just 80%, let's say, just to speak, 8%, 75%, we just go for it. Sometimes make me wonder, maybe I go too far to get ready. I might lose some time and lose some idea or energy. So that is a very good strategy to get us think how soon we should start our business. Very good speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. One more. Anyone else?
Belinda, I just want to say, are you sure you didn't drop that laptop to demonstrate for us how to handle mishaps? I enjoyed the presentation, and I do like the others. I absolutely love using acronyms because they do help you to remember what was said. So thank you, and thank you for sharing. You should have told me all these things a couple of years ago. Okay? I could have used it. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. Yes. Dr. Lawana, you're right. And it says that transparency is where people respect honesty, not perfection. And I think that, Melinda, we are so proud of you and the progress that you have made on everything you've done in your journey. So thank you so much, everyone. Please give her another round of applause. Thank
Great
you
stuff.
so much.
I'm going to be walking through. I got my device yesterday, so I'm starting to walk and like get back to me. Woohoo! I'm on a mission.
Yes, 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 yes. Getting back to you. That's what we want to see. Okay, thank you so much. Our next speaker is Tommy Daniel. Tommy, are you here? I think I saw you in your car.
She told me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tommy says that there's only a limited amount of time that people have in each day. Your success is determined by the limited number of people you have to help with your product or service. So over the next 5 to 7 minutes, she's going to talk about entrepreneurs and their strategic relationships with people to delegate and automate their business. And then we will open it up for 9 to 10 minutes of brainstorming so that we can help her along with her business strategy and perhaps a challenge. Tommy, please welcome 2 ways to increase your business success. Tommy Daniel.
What's the timing?
Yes, please correct.
5 to 7 minutes for her speech and 10 minutes for brainstorming.
Thank you.
Tommy, you are muted.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's good to finally join you here. This morning, I just want to tell you some stories, or one central story and a few supporting stories in the next 5 to 7 minutes. We all have 24 hours a day, or I don't know about you. I have 24 hours. There is nothing, no magic or miracle that can increase the number of hours that I have been given. I can't get more. but I can learn to maximize the 24 hours that I have so that I can get to do more. Two things that can help, whether in our personal lives or as entrepreneurs, are delegation and automation. And so let me illustrate with a story. The story of Henry Ford. We all know that amazing genius of a man who brought automation into the automobile industry, and it spread to other sectors as well. In the early 1900s, cars were manufactured just in limited quantities, limited numbers. And he decided, he said, there's this famous quote, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. But I knew that society was ready for something more, something better. So he worked with his team of engineers and came up with the Model T of the Ford Model T. And it could have gone on, the design phase could have gone on in perpetuity, but he decided to cut it short, froze the design at a stage and said, we got the basics. This is a big upgrade from just having horses. It is faster, it is safer, it is sleeker, and it is new. So now let's go into production. How was it going to manufacture a higher number of automobiles at a lower cost, at a faster rate, so that he could get them to market? And that's why he automated the assembly line, the automobile assembly line. He was very successful. In 1908, Ford sold about 10,000 units of vehicles. By 1915, that number had gone to more than 420,000 because he automated the assembly line and said, what humans were doing in limited quantities, I can use machines to do in larger quantities. And he was very successful. And then a few years later, by 1917, Ford sold 2/3 of all the automobiles in the US, and everything was manufactured in country because he learned to automate his business. And so he was able to get more done at a lower cost, at a faster rate, get it to the market, be able to generate more revenue and put the money back into even automating further. We live in a world where there's a device for everything. On your phone, if you use an iPhone, you can order Siri to get you answers. You can get Alexa in your home to do stuff. If you watch TV ads, you would even see that there are taps, faucets in our kitchens, in our bathrooms, that we can tell now, fill the dog bowl and get this done. We have gadgets for everything. We have apps for everything, making automation a no-brainer in a 21st century world. But can it go alone? And so back to Henry Ford, who successfully automated his assembly line and was able to get more done, get more products faster at a cheaper cost and make a lot of money. But he forgot about what is called delegation, the complement to automation. And so remember, he had frozen the design of the Ford Model T and said, let's quickly go to market. He did that, but he froze the design. And so General Motors, by 1920, they saw what was going on. They kept working on their design and said, this is what he's doing. We're going to do the same thing and do it better. They were having meetings regularly, late into the night. There was a core team that the CEO delegated to, and they were brainstorming constantly about what to do. Well, by 1920, they came out with a sleeker model. They had more customizations on color. They had more customization on features, and they started eating into the Ford market share. And so from 2/3 of automobile sales in the US, Ford dropped to 1/3 within 2 years. And Henry Ford still would not listen to his core team. He still would not continue tinkering with the Model T design. By 5 years later, when he came up with the Model A, it was too late. The market was saturated with automobiles that were not black, that were different colors, and that had stood on his shoulder, the shoulder of the Ford Model T, and come up with a lot of things. And so fast forward to our world, we have some incredible entrepreneurs who have done exceptionally well. They are among the least of the world's billionaires, and they have things to teach us about delegation as we live in this automation saturated world. The first is Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Jeff said the 2 pizza rule. If you have a team that is larger than you can feed with 2 pizzas, it's too big, cut it down. Bill Gates, he said, I don't know everything. I find people who don't have the skills that I do. I surround myself with them and I delegate to them. We have Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group of Companies. He said, I am dyslexic. Everything has to be kept simple. In delegation, I keep it simple. I tell my team, you know, I don't understand complex things. Keep it simple for me. And so as we think about maximizing our 24 hours, we have to automate. We have to delegate. The two must go hand in hand. Otherwise, we would spread ourselves too thin and not achieve the success that we need. And so the floor is open. What questions do you have about automation? We have several tools now. What are you using to automate key parts of your business? What parts of your business are you even automating? Who are you delegating to? How can you delegate, whether to people or to machines? It's time for Q&A. Let's brainstorm.
Let's brainstorm, everyone. Chime in.
Tommy,
Yes, sir.
I really appreciated the information you gave about the early automotive days and how Ford was so stuck in his own head. If he got out of his own way, they would have moved faster.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about both duplication and you talk about automation and you talk about having other people do parts of your job, the more people understand the only thing they should actually be doing in their job is the things that no one else can do. Everything else should be done by someone else.
Yes. I agree.
Yes.
Thank you for that. You know, one of the things I am interested in is what parts of your businesses are you automating? What parts are you delegating, and how are you doing that? We can swap stories and, you know, ideas and tips on what's helping. There's so many tools out there that we can use now. You know. So the floor is open. Let's brainstorm.
Tommy,
Yes, sir.
oh, it's me. It's Maria too.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you talking about delegation, because when I started my business here, I was trying to wear the hat all by myself, and I had to let go I was handling the QuickBooks by myself, and I realized you cannot be doing QuickBooks because you're not an accountant. You're not a financial person. So it's best to hire someone that knows that part of it. So delegating and giving that part to my accountant to handle was an amazing, because the first 2 years I was not doing good at doing that myself. So it is important to delegate and give things that you cannot do, so that I can just stay being the entrepreneur that I am and coming up with the ideas that I need to come up with. And then once I started to hire other people and giving them the roles, I was able to open my way and get out of my own way so that they could handle business clients without me having to always be hovering over them. So I appreciate how you broke everything down, explaining Ford, because he really was in his own way, trying to just stick to one thing, and instead of getting out of his own way. So as an entrepreneur, I really was able to relate because I've been there. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariatu, for bringing that up. You see how our example illustrated what happened to Ford. You know, she automated with QuickBooks. QuickBooks is an amazing software, but she realized that she still had to delegate that, you know, and your business is a brick and mortar thing. So you take cash at a point of sale and you have to transfer that to the bank and all of that. You know, it varies slightly with e-commerce. I don't know how many people here are in e-commerce where you don't even see the customer or the client. They just pay and then it's transferred to your account. You know, my experience was that was one of the first things I did. Like, I am not even trying to figure out the tax implications of my business. So I talked to a tax accountant and she recommended that I get QuickBooks. She said she uses QuickBooks and I was going to sync my QuickBooks account to hers so that she would have access to be able to go there and do the books. You know, so you see the beauty of delegation and automation being complementary, whether it's a brick and mortar business or whether it's e-commerce.
Okay, we have a question from Dr. Valencia, then Rosabelle, then Ray.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and Tommy Daniels. Thank you for your presentation. What resonated with me was delegation, automation, but also the story you shared about Henry Ford and innovation. That people wanted or would have thought about a faster moving horse rather than the Model T. And I feel like in this day and time, where we're going through shifts and changes coming out of a pandemic, coming into new technologies every day, AI, we have to be innovative and not be afraid to think outside of the box. So your challenge helped me to remember innovation and to come in with new things and not be afraid to have those new ideas that may be different than anybody else wants, whether it's in entrepreneurship, Toastmaster leadership, or just in your own personal life. So my question I guess I would have for you, or something that I would want to leave with you, is just to continue to be innovative in your business. And that's for all of us. What are ways that we can be innovative in our business? What is something new that we've thought in the back of our minds we wanted to try, but maybe had a fear because we didn't know if it would be successful? And do you have any? And if not, just remember that point that you struck with us in the beginning of creativity and innovation. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tony.
Thank you.
All right. And now Rosabelle and then Ray, and I see Dr. Luana. Rosabelle?
Well, among Henry Ford's mistakes, you did point out some of the economic mistakes and his failed loan and his stubbornness at not wanting to modernize or alter his initial model. But he also made a lot of people mistakes. And I think it's well known that he was responsible for a big riot and massacre over some overpass, I think in Detroit, when he was blocking his workers from unionizing. And of course, he was said to be racist and anti-Semitic and narrow-minded. Whether he learned to change those aspects of his personality or mistakes or opinions or erroneous opinions, those are certainly things that nowadays would not have allowed him to be successful. And we have to think that back in the 20s, it was common, unfortunately, to treat workers badly, and unions were a new thing, but came to be because workers were treated badly. And so I just wanted to say that the successes and failures of the 20s are not necessarily the same as today. That man would never have succeeded in the 21st century. We would not have allowed him probably unless he changed early on. And we have to think about our own employees and our own demeanor and treatment of them, and as well as our colleagues and people we delegate to. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. Ray, and then Dr. Lawana. I think we'll have to conclude at that point, Dr. Lawana. Okay, Ray.
Thank you, Ross and Tommy. Speaking of automation, I'm wondering where Henry Ford might be 100 years later. He initially started the vehicle to jump on board with not only what Dr. Valencia mentioned, but the thought of Ford creating the vehicle over 100 years ago, and then with today's up and coming technologies, as a species, we're growing leaps and bounds every single year. Another automated program that's up and coming that people are just scratching their heads, wondering whether to pursue, whether to use, whether it's going to take over is, again, as Dr. Valencia mentioned, AI. AI is not only used now, myself being a photographer, there's certain apps that you can literally utilize with AI to create your own backgrounds. You just speak what you want and it actualizes itself. Whether it's qualitative or not is a different story. It can also be used in the film industry and is used slightly now in the film industry, and even in the writer's world. You can potentially speak into AI and create a story. The question is it going to consume our own creativity potential? That is one of the things that people are wondering about. What are some of your thoughts on the utilization of AI in our creativity facilities? Please, if you could respond to that, much appreciated. Thank you much.
I am a big believer in AI, but as an augmentation, not a replacement of human creativity, human capabilities. We cannot avoid it. It's everywhere now. There's so many. AI really makes life better in so many ways. It's led to a lot of advances. However, augment with automation. Never use them to replace, because these are all created by man. They're supposed to be, they're not supposed to replace us. And if you use them to augment whatever you do, keeping the ethics of use, keeping it, in mind, you will get the best of it and avoid the worst of it. Hopefully in the future, we can have an AI focused meeting where that's all we talk about as it relates to our business.
Okay. And Dr. Lawana is our last commenter.
Okay. Well, in the interest of time, I see the red flag there. I will just say, I remember a time when I worked for the phone company and when they were telling us about tell people they can now dial direct. And I resisted that because I was thinking, I'm going to be out of a job if they're dialing direct. But actually what it did, it was it increased jobs. So sometimes even employees can be in the way.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for contributing to Tommy's business challenge. Is there a closing comment for you before we move into general evaluation? Any closing comments, Tommy?
Thank you, everyone. Keep innovating. Use your creativity. Do not be afraid to automate. Do not be afraid to delegate, but do it in ways that are respectful of others, that enhance the dignity of everyone, and that will actually move you forward. Enjoy the rest of
All
your
right. Thank you. A round of applause for Tony. Okay, now let's hear evaluation from Suzanne Ali.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Once again, what a wonderful meeting. I haven't been here in some time, and I am so glad I was able to attend and serve as your general evaluator today. As you know, the general evaluation portion of the meeting is so important because we get that feedback, and we just had a bunch of feedback for both our speakers. So I hope I can add a little bit more value to augment those evaluations that were just given. We'll start with Melinda. Melinda, when I heard the title of your speech, Mishap, I thought, oh boy, wow, there are a lot of mishaps that go on in business, but I love how you made it into an acronym. I love acronym because it helps me remember what each of those words are. I love the first thing, money. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they all stood out in my mind. And I especially love the one about strategies. I think that is so important to have strategies. But I also wanted to commend you, Melinda, for giving the speech. I've been in your situation before. I've been in a medical healthcare setting where I've had to perform and do the tasks. And I honestly thought that was part of your speech when your computer fell. And I think that could be actually written if you give this speech again, have something happen, because I know in my own life, stuff happens. Like I have a Braille device that's sitting on my lap right now. And although I do use it as a Braille display, I also have to use a little bit of a speech. I have a partial speech. And sometimes the speech doesn't work. I'm like, oh, what did I write next? So again, I just commend you. I think it was an awesome speech. Mishaps, I think we're definitely going to remember that. I know I am, and I know we had a lot to take away, and so many people gave so much great feedback to you today. Again, I get your call to action for us to think about that. Just again, awesome speech. I can't say any more than what everybody has already provided you. Again, thank you for that awesome speech. Whew, Tomi, awesome speech. Tomi, you are an awesome storyteller. I couldn't write down I'm listening. I just wanted to listen to you. You have a pleasant voice, a pleasant storytelling voice about Henry Ford. And I wish my grandma was here because she could tell you so much more because she was around in that time when things were going on. But I just love how you related everything, delegate. Something, I don't want to repeat everything that everybody said because everybody gave so much great feedback. But Randy Powell told us, I don't know if it was our last session that we had in Mastermind, but Craig Duswalt, who I think most of you know, is pretty big, speaks to big audiences. He has somebody who knows him well enough that he actually writes his books for him. So when Randy shared that with us, I thought, wow, that is really delegating and knowing somebody. Of course, he has his input, but he knows Craig Duswalt so well that he knows what to write. But I think it is so important. And that 24 hours in a day, can you guys hear me? Am I still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So again,
Yes.
I think it is so important. I apologize. That 24 hours in a day that we all have and that we need to maximize it, and how it is to delegate, to get things done, to automate, and to, I just love all of the words that you shared. Again, it was so much here today, and I think everybody got so much great feedback. Just a couple, I don't know what my time is right now, but just a little.
You have 1 minute, 1 minute left.
On the meeting. Great meeting, Roz. I loved your theme. I would like someone to introduce the Toastmaster, because you kind of just started talking. I would just like you to delegate someone to just give a little, when it's you, Roz, or just a little introduction about the Toastmaster would have been nice. and possibly maybe starting the meeting a little later or starting with something else as we're waiting for speakers. Otherwise, this meeting was awesome. I'm so glad I was able to attend, and I plan to attend the next one. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Excellent feedback. Excellent job as general evaluator of the entire meeting, as well as our speakers. Now, what is our timers report? Nora?
Nora, you're muted.
You're muted, Nora.
Thank you. For the speeches today, Tommy went 8 minutes and 29 seconds for the first part of her speech before going into the question and answer, which was 10 minutes and 21 seconds. Melinda, presentation today was 5 minutes and 5 minutes and 5 seconds, even with the mishap. The feedback for Tommy, the feedback for Melinda was 10 minutes also. Everything in the meeting is moving along. And Suzanne, your timing was 4 minutes and 37 seconds.
Okay, great.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Nora. We are just about at 8 a.m. Pacific time. We have 2 minutes left. However, if you need to leave, we certainly understand. The officers will stay on board because we have an officers meeting immediately after this one. But I'd like to ask any members and guests if they have any comments about today's meeting before we adjourn. Any comments? Especially from
Just
our
that I'm
guests.
official next month.
Yay!
Everything
Dr.
is turned
Luana.
in.
Yoo-hoo. She will be an official member next month. Thank you so much, Dr. Luana. All right, we're looking forward to that. Any other comments?
Roz, I would like to comment as an MC also who is tasked with keeping the train on time. I praise you for managing to keep things going and flowing, even though the beginning didn't start quite as orchestrated. So kudos to you, Roz. You kept it going, you kept your cool, you kept it happening. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ernie. You know, we have to end on time if we start on time. And yes, we had a few mishaps in the beginning when some of our speakers weren't quite ready and some of our entertainment wasn't quite ready. And being president and Toastmaster of the day, I appreciate, Suzanne, what you said about having someone else introduce the Toastmaster of the day if it has to be the president. So I try to stay away from most roles.
Right.
But thank you so much for all of your comments today. And if there are no other comments from our guests and our members.
I do. I just have one small comment.
Yes.
I know I haven't regularly attended, and I'm going to start doing that, but if I could please have a green, yellow, red during my time.
Oh.
That would really help me in my pacing because I always have a lot to say. And sometimes where am I? Have I talked for 3 minutes? Have I talked? So that would be great to say, even just a green, you know, so I at least know, okay, I've at least hit the green and start, you know, wrapping it up. So anyway, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like to make a comment on that. There were lights. You didn't see them?
No, I can't see. I can't see.
Oh, so what
That's
would you
okay.
like? Okay, so what would you like?
Green, yellow, red. Green, yellow, red.
Just say it out loud.
A verbal green, yellow, red.
Yes.
Oh, verbally mention green, red. Is that what
Correct.
Okay.
That's
all
okay.
right.
No
Thank you.
worries.
Yeah, a quick suggestion is the timer could pin herself, keep her hand raised. It would keep her up in the top left spot. And that way the person would only have to look over there to see.
But that wasn't the
colors.
Yeah, that won't help me, but that'll help you guys.
She can't visual.
Okay, just so everyone's aware,
Okay, thank you.
Suzanne Ali is sight impaired.
Yes.
So when she is on the call, when she
Yeah.
is in our meetings, she would appreciate a verbal green, yellow,
Yes.
red for
Yeah,
timing
Yeah,
whenever she gives
Okay.
a speech or
Yes.
any
right.
part of the
Yes,
meeting.
That's it.
So that's good. And
Okay.
then, like Dr. Lawana said, the timer, if they keep their hand raised, they will always be at the top left of everyone's screen. So any other suggestions